There's an African saying which is, be careful when a naked person offers you a shirt. I mean, if he had something, he'd cover himself first, right? So I like to look at self-love. It is very important that it comes from within, that you have a sense of yourself, so that when you walk into an office, you don't go alone. Bring your people with you. Bring everybody who has loved you with you. Say, Grandma, come on, let's go. Great-grandpa, you've been dead all this time. Come on, let's go. I have to go in here and have an interview. Come on, Auntie. Come on, my friends. Come, let's go. And when you walk in, people don't know what it is about you. They can't take their eyes off you. You may not be cute in the given sense. You may not be fashion model size in that particular sense. You may not be any of those things, but they can't take their eyes off you. And they say of you, in this incredible way, which I don't understand, they say, I don't know, but she has charisma. No, what you have is all those people around you. So think of that. Anytime you have anything to do, bring everybody with you that you can remember who has loved you. And then you have that sense of having been paid for. And when you walk in, people will say, now, I think you're overqualified.
You know, when I came across this video, I really liked the video because to a very great extent, it mirrored the perspective I had about things like this, because I've always had this strong belief in sacrifice of loved ones, sacrifice of parents, sacrifice of people who have gone out of their way even when they didn't have to make sure that you go through the most difficult situations in life. I remember the sacrifices of people who didn't have to, because there are certainly people like that who didn't have to but did. You could make the opposite case for parents or family members. I see videos sometimes online about how people say that they basically make a case that says as long as an individual decides to bring a child into the world, he has no choice but to take responsibility for the child. And when parents make statements about how much they have done for the child and how much it feels to them as if the child is wasting their efforts, or it seems to them as if the child is not being appreciated for their efforts. And then there is the response they get is, you decided to give birth to me, I don't owe you anything. I think there's something wrong with that perspective, because we have seen people, I think every one of us have definitely encountered people in our lives who have been in worse conditions than we are or we have been. So will you really now say that those parents didn't want to do things for their children? Or would you now say that those children are not worthy of being in the position that you are enjoying? Because if you look at it from an onlooker's point of view, it is simply, there's an element of luck in it, there's an element of privilege in it. The fact that the parents you have or the people who are sacrificing for you are in a position that they can sacrifice is really a privilege, because there are people who are a lot worse than you, who are doing a lot worse than you are doing, who are in a position where even though they had parents, the parents didn't have enough resources. The parents could not at any point in time do nearly as much as your own parents or your own people have done for you. So it kind of ticks me off to some extent when I see videos like that. But then I think there is definitely a lot more that can be said about those videos. So this is just a an overgeneralization. I'm not trying to be flippant about it. So, and so I take with me, along with me, just like she has said, I remember the sacrifice of all of these people, and because of that, it gives you an energy boost. I think it's another way to look at it. When you remember how much effort it took for the people around you to lead you to the position you are in, or if you have been not so lucky in life to have people around you, and you have been the one who has been patting yourself in the back, who has been your own cheerleader, it's still the same idea. If you think about how much effort and time and sacrifice it took for you to get to that position, there is a confidence boost that particular perspective gives to you. It gives you it charges you up for every possible resistant encounter that you might have, or people who are intending to downplay the effort you have put, or are intending to downplay the qualifications you are all about. There is something about it that charges you up. I think that's probably one of the things that Maya is saying here. There is something about remembering the sacrifice that have gone into you being in the position you are in at that point in time. Do not ever forget that. And if you think about the sacrifices that I have done, you are more likely to keep fighting. You are more likely to keep pushing forward, because as a matter of filial piety, or as a matter of not letting yourself down, you will push forward. And because you have come through something, and then because you have gotten that far, all evidence is suggesting that you can still get further. So I look at it from the perspective of sacrifice. She looks at it from the perspective of love, which I think is the same thing. Sacrifice and love are essentially synonyms. So it will take a lot of analysis and characterization to separate the two of them, but then both of them can be the same thing. So it's quite interesting. So it made a lot of sense to me when she said that, because I've always, at some point in my life, I couldn't quite put a finger on what exactly I feel, even though it seemed to me as if it was passion. But then that explanation wasn't quite enough. So I think it's the boost you get from the sacrifice of people who have let themselves down, who have sacrificed what could have been for them, and have given it onto you. And then you travel the journey on their behalf, and they watch you go further than they could have gone, presumably. So this is something quite useful to emulate. So